Good morning, everyone. January 8th, 2025. Lovely sunny day here in Vancouver. Figured it was a stressful day, stressful week. Figured I would just kind of start the day. Talked to my buddy Tony last night, kind of reflect on some history and interesting ideas in regards with revolutions. I figured I would start the day with some records. Specifically, I would focus on some ambient music. Starting off with, good morning. Starting off with Brian Eno, one of the true pioneers in ambient music. This is from circa '78. He had some other records before that had obviously some, if you've listened to Brian Eno, that had some ambient influence, but this one kind of really did it for him. I believe he was recovering at the hospital where this idea of this concept came to be, the record. So, the Ambient one, music for airports. This is a great record. I mean, great layout too. You can see, just beautiful. Just play both sides and just easy to ignore and easy to listen to, as Eno mentioned. True pioneer in ambient music. And then I'm going to kind of fast forward back, go to the 80s. Figured, because I don't have those records, I can't find them. I would jump to something that would kind of mold with ambient and incorporate different styles. This would be Richard James's outcome of this record. I think it's from 85 to 92, or aka Aphex Twin. Great record as well. A lot of ambient influence when you hear the sounds. And you hear obviously some small incorporations of drum machines, very light drum machines, and also other arrangements. It's a great record. It kind of helps, help kind of just push in that era, and as well as electronic and techno. But this is a great record as well. This wasn't released, I believe, till '92, and this is, of course, a reissue. I got it, Mississippi Records. Great record shop. And from there, we also want another category. That would be Moby, his debut from 91 to 92. I can't remember. Well, this was an instrumental, more techno influence, dance. Very great record. He would also release an ambient record. That would be more ambient influence. I believe it would be his third or second record. And he put that out in '92. This one, however, is a more electronic, techno influence. It's a great record. And it provides the early sounds of Moby's early recordings. Great record. Jumping from there, I may do another Ice Punch today. I'm gonna start then kind of. This actually, this is volume 1, 85 through 92 demo recording, and this is from '94, I believe. This is a reissue, Aphex Twin again, and it was released in '94. Great record. It is a very ambient influence sound, just like the first one. However, this kind of introduces more darker influences that Richard was bringing in. Great record. Depends on the mood you're in, but my wife probably wasn't too on board with this. She enjoyed the first one, but this one, it was just too dark for her, she said. Too much melancholy. It's a great record, though, in my opinion. I did some recordings, and I remember there's a track in here that I listened to, and it really influenced a song I was recording, and some records that I put out this year. And this one's a more contemporary, kind of just fast forwarding, just kind of a very quick outlet. So this one's Hazy Mountains, and this is more electronica based. Kind of, it does have some influence you could hear. In my opinion, I kind of feel like maybe not close to the genre, but a little what Chemical Brothers and Fatboy Slim brought in the '90s with big beat sound, incorporating heavy bass arrangements and guitar, and emphasis on a lot of rhythm beat arrangements. But for some reason that came in mind when I heard this record. I just heard this on the YouTube channel. These guys are from, I think he's from Germany, and this is the third album. It's called Hazy Mountains. Great record. The album is called Small Hours, and this is more electronica, in my opinion, kind of some slight pop arrangements, great guitar arrangements, great sampling, and I love the way he arranges his bass lines for like the choruses and the verses. Very, very awesome. Kind of, I love doing that too. For me, it's like that 1-3-5 with the basses. When you add a bass arrangement and you add a 1-3-5 pattern, 1-3-5-7, it just adds beautiful sound, especially when you could hear it throughout the rhythm and arrangements. So this is definitely one of those records that you could listen to. Very awesome. Vocals are very distorted, so it kind of lets the listener create their own interpretation of these compositions. So, Hazy Mountains, great record. It's a newer record, 2016, but I thought I would kind of bring in some history from, I wouldn't say history, but a little overview of some of my collection. Figured I would start with, obviously, with somebody with Brian Eno. I figured he's always been one of my, I always admire his work. Really great record. Ambient listener, I recommend this. Great, soft arrangements. It's very hard to put, but it's just such a beautiful record. He also put out, within the following years, Volume 2, 3, and 4, and other arrangements, and he's collaborated with many artists, David Burns, David Anias, I believe, and many other composers and musicians. Great record. And again, with going back on Aphex Twin, again, these are two great records. This is, again, more of an ambient, but it has a, again, soft drum beats, very light, but it's a great record. And this one, on the other hand, Volume 2, is just recordings again from Richard James, and it's a more darker approach, but a great record. I recommend start with Volume 1, and then work to Volume 2. And you'll see, hopefully, what I mean. And as far as with Moby, again, great record. He has a great record that he put out a few years after the debut, which is this one. It's called Ambient, and he put that out in 93 and 92. Another great record. So, that's for the day, I guess. Excuse me. So I figured I'd start this day out with reflection and just kind of looking back, as we all have bad days, we all have good days. I figured in the end it's up to the individual to decide which route, and of course I always truly believe there's always different ways into embellishing those routes, because everything is just temporary. So until next time, we will hopefully post another video, or I will, and introduce you to other sounds from the format. Alright.